Mm. Okay. 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 Mm. Okay. 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 Hey YouTube, I am back. We are going to look at some games again, try to find some bets. We emerged tonight with a little win on our hands. We went 4 of 7, so it took a few losses, but still came up about a unit ahead. So staying alive, can't be mad. We're kind of starting to head back in the right direction here, so I'm expecting to have a big Saturday. So let's get to the recap and get right into the games. So first game was Florida. I laid 10.5. Pretty aggressive move. I thought they were going to destroy Kentucky, honestly, but I was kind of wrong. I mean, the thing that's annoying is there wasn't 1 second in this entire game that it looked like Kentucky had a chance to win. I mean, Kentucky was down around 10 the whole game. And then at the end, they pushed it, they ended up down 6 for a second. Florida like pushed it back a little. It was tough to watch. The end was crazy. I just basically the last minute watched Florida miss free throws, give offensive rebounds. There was a turnover the last minute. So they did everything they could to not cover this in the end. They definitely were caught sleeping at the end, but I mean, they showed that they can dominate a good team the entire game. And yeah, they slipped up a little at the end, but it happens. It was their first time on this court, so it is what it is. Kentucky is eliminated. I mean, like I said, they played okay, but there wasn't any point where it looked like they could win it. So I don't know. Good performance by Florida. And on to the next game was Wisconsin plus 8.5 versus Illinois. So Wisconsin won this game outright as an 8.5 point dog. So pretty impressive. I was kind of saying that I wasn't impressed with Illinois and that I didn't think they had great wins, and I thought Wisconsin had more impressive wins. And I mean, it looked like Wisconsin was done in the beginning in the first half of this game, but like it was crazy. They fought back. It went to overtime and they won in overtime. So proud of them. I don't think they'll continue this run. We'll see how they do versus Michigan, but pretty impressive win by Wisconsin here. So we got the W. And then on to the next that was basically UAB money line I wanted, but the odds weren't very good, so I parlayed it with Tulsa money line. Neither leg hit. So this was a pretty bad L. So I mean UAB I thought would do better, but yeah, it's just weird. It seems like a lot of these like mid teams have just been getting really hot from three as underdogs and winning. I mean, Charlotte was just shooting way better than them. It's interesting. So I would like to fade some of these teams, but the market doesn't end up really respecting them too much after these wins. So I mean, Charlotte is getting probably close to 15 points in their next game versus South Florida. So probably won't fade them, but yeah, Charlotte beat UAB and advances to the finals. And then well, actually Tulsa won. They didn't cover, but they did cover the money line. So I guess both of these legs didn't lose, but UAB lost outright, and Tulsa did not cover the 7.5. They ended up winning by 6 in the end and actually almost covering, but they were down the entire game, and they scrounged their way back at the end, and it went into OT, and it proceeded to go into OT like 3 more times. So they won in like quadruple or triple overtime, and they almost covered. So it was sad to see it, but it's not like they got destroyed. They won by 6, so one possession off. Not great, but similar situation with UAB. I mean, they didn't lose bad. It was a good game the whole game, and then, Charlotte slipped away by a few points at the end. So, not terrible losses all around. Like Florida almost covered too, so it could have turned into a great day over like a possession or two. And then on to the last few wins, were starting was Howard. I actually put the wrong spread in here. This was both of these are wrong. Ah, great. But the spread for the Howard game was like minus 14 and a half, and I just laid it against South Carolina State because they've been shooting amazing. And they came into this game shooting amazing. Howard was down in the beginning. They were down the whole first half, and then they towards the end of the first half, they took a lead and they ended the first half up 14 points. So I was like, awesome, no problem, they got this. And then they proceeded to go down in the second half to the point where like they were like basically losing and then it was like tied up. So it was crazy in the second half. They actually got it down, and then we're fighting. The South Carolina State team was hitting their shots, and then they just fell apart. So my theory was right in the end. Their run couldn't keep going, and they eventually fell apart in this game, and Howard just destroyed them the last 5 minutes and covered. So wasn't like a no sweat win at all. It was this all happened at the end, but Howard won it. And then next game was Akron. Akron almost didn't cover this too. They were up the whole game, up double digits in the first half. Kent State fought back, and then right at the end, Akron pushed to cover, and they won by like 7 points and covered by the hook. I was laying 6.5 with them. So Howard, Akron barely covering, but they got it done. And then Toledo money line was like the no sweat pick of the day. And this was one that I was hoping that UMass would take money, and they did. I got in the money line at minus 115, and Toledo beat them easily. So I really liked fading UMass off that big win. I don't think they're a good team. So that is the recap. Let's see what we got for tomorrow. So the first game, Vermont versus UMBC. I'm 100% rolling UMBC. I got them at minus 2.5. I don't know if that number is still around, but it opened at minus 1.5, and it already right after it opened basically moved to minus 2.5. So I got in there. I couldn't get the minus 1.5. I really wish I could have. I think UMBC wins this by double digits, honestly. I have them winning by 2.5 to 5, so I like that because I think that is very conservative because this estimate here is including a ton of early season games that I don't think are at all relevant. So I like that there. I mean, they on the road, they're playing pretty good. On the road, they have an 8 point edge to Vermont. Recent play, they have a 7 point edge. They've been running through teams in their conference. Last game, they beat Vermont by double digits. So I love it, and I love the fact that UMBC is at home here. Vermont is going to UMBC to play this game in Baltimore. So, yeah, these Vermont boys aren't going to be able to go hang out in Baltimore. It's a wrap. So, I'm on UMBC. Next game is Wisconsin versus Michigan. I'm not gonna touch this one. I'm so impressed with what Wisconsin just did, but I don't really trust them to keep doing that. Michigan, I'm not 100% sure what they're capable of. I know Wisconsin beat them at one point this season, so not gonna jump in on this one. I kind of like, I mean, I'm not getting Michigan even winning by this number. I'm getting Michigan between 6 and 12, or basically 5.5 and 11.5. So I wouldn't back Michigan laying these points, just knowing that it really doesn't matter if they win their conference tournament. They're a shoe-in for an at-large bid. So yeah, I'm not too sure how I feel about it. Like I could see Michigan taking it easy and Wisconsin just going all out and then somehow covering, but I could also see Michigan just making a point here. So not gonna touch this one. Next game, Vanderbilt versus Florida. I'm taking Florida. I don't care. Yeah, I really don't care. I got them winning here basically 5.5 to 11. So the 7.5 kind of in between that range. So not like a crazy edge, but like I definitely lean towards the higher end of this estimate for sure. I just think it's like every time Florida has played Kentucky, it looks like they came out and whooped the next game. Vanderbilt's high, but like they're just small. So like I like Florida now coming in. Like Florida somewhat struggled versus Kentucky. Not really. They were up by double digits the whole game. So just because they didn't cover, I mean, there was no point. Like they dominated that game. And now they're used to the court. They're like, it's going to make a big difference playing here tomorrow versus today, where it was their first time playing on this court versus a team who already played here. So I think that's going to make a difference on Saturday. A lot of these high-seeded teams who struggled in their first game on the court are going to be used to it, and they're going to have their releases down and hit better shots. So let's just check out Florida. Like, yeah, how did they do versus Vandy last time? They beat them not by a big number, but that was so long. That was in January. This Florida team is just a different beast. Somehow Kentucky hung out with them though. They destroyed everybody else pretty easily. Covered this number against everyone. I don't see Vanderbilt being much different. I mean, I don't think Vanderbilt's that good, and they have no bigs. I mean, they're good, but they're not going to be able to hang with Florida. I think this is a bad mismatch. So I'm rolling Florida. Like, does Vandy even have big wins? Like, the Tennessee wins are crazy. Like, they had a crazy win, like, today versus Tennessee, and they had a good win end of season, but like they played good versus Tennessee, but I think Tennessee just dropped the ball. I don't know. I don't know how they even beat Tennessee twice. But I know Florida watched all that film and they're gonna be ready to whoop on them. So this is a real program, these Gators. So I'm rolling with them, especially off not covering. Ooh, give me that 7.5. Next game, North Carolina Central versus Howard. I mean, I took Howard here. I took Howard again. They covered for me despite the other team coming out shooting so hot and them shooting horrible. They didn't shoot good at all at the beginning of this game. So I really like them here. Now that they're used to the court, they're coming and playing a team that's just as bad. North Carolina Central, it's like the same exact team. So I have them with a 7 to 14 point edge, and I think that this is totally understating what's going to happen here. I think just looking at them on the road, yeah, on the road it includes some early not out of con play, so I think that favors North Carolina Central just because of how hard some of Howard's earlier games were. Not to mention like they have a 22 point advantage. Just looking at the trailing 10 games, they have a 22 point. They're winning by 22 more points on average than North Carolina Central. It's just these teams aren't even close to each other. So to be laying only 11.5, I got an 11.5. I think that they can beat this team by 20 points. Sounds crazy, but I just do. See what they've been up to. Let's just see, because it's hard not to fade these bum teams off of these wins. And yeah, I've got burned a couple times doing it, but I didn't get burned today doing it. Yeah, this is Howard. They just ran through their whole conference no problem by winning by double digits every single game. So it's like, okay, they had one bad game versus Norfolk State at Norfolk State. Like they have played some games on the road not too good. They lost to Morgan State. Like they had a couple L's early, but I mean their last conference loss was in January. And South Carolina State did beat them, but then they came back and just destroyed them. So I liked how Howard was playing at the end of this game. I think they're going to come out smoking hot tomorrow and destroy this team. Like North Carolina Central, like what are we talking about here? Like yeah, they have a lot of conference wins, but like it's kind of sporadic and random. They're not winning more than two times in a row. One time this entire season did they win more than two times in a row. So they got destroyed by Howard too. Twice they got destroyed by more than this number by Howard. Yeah, I can't help it. I saw the 11 and a half. I doubt it's even there anymore. I wouldn't be surprised if this line closes at like 13, 14 and a half. I would be curious to see what it even is. Let's see if I can check that. Okay, it moved to 12 and a half on FanDuel. I think that might be the lowest, 12 and a half minus 105. That's still a decent number. I would probably take that too. I laid some juice to get the 11 and a half, but I just wanted to get the lowest possible number. So I'm on this. I'm on Howard minus 11 and a half on some favorites again. Risky business. Next game, Dayton versus St. Louis. I'm on St. Louis here. I mean, I thought they came out and it was their first game on the neutral, their first conference game. They were really like again, like we've been seeing this with every favorite. They're coming out to their first conference tournament game and they're not playing good on the neutral court. Their first time playing. But towards the end of the game and the second half, they're all hitting their shots at a higher clip and a lot of them are winning. Like a lot of teams aren't covering, but a lot of teams are covering. So many dogs are live, but I'm also seeing some favorites that are starting to like once they get used to the court, they're rolling. It's just that I do think that a lot of these favorites and these high-seeded teams coming in are struggling at first against the underdogs who have experience on the court. So I love St. Louis having a game of experience on the court, playing, coming back from an insane deficit. Like we're talking about like a 15 point plus deficit and coming back and winning and covering the number. So I was impressed with what they did. They won by 7. They were like a 6.5 point favorite. So I almost grabbed them before the game. It would have been the sweatiest win ever, but I like them here. I have them winning between 4.5 and 9. So to be able to get it at 5.5, I find that attractive because even where St. Louis is playing their worst ball, right? We're looking at the trailing few. St. Louis is playing their worst ball and covering this number against similar teams. So we have, and this in this same period, this is the period where Dayton is playing their best ball. So Dayton is playing their best ball of the season. St. Louis is playing their worst ball of the season in this sample, and St. Louis is still covering the number in this sample. So, I mean, I was so skeptical about this St. Louis team, and I still am, but I do think they have a huge bounce back game here and destroy Dayton. So, I'm rolling minus 5.5 with St. Louis. Like this run, I faded Dayton recently on this run and I won. So they did cool off a little bit. So maybe they come out and shoot hot and they hold it close, but I don't think so. Rolling St. Louis, another favorite. Next game I had in here that I don't think I'll take is VCU and St. Joseph's. I was interested in fading St. Joseph's off of all of their recent success they've been having. Like they've just been playing so well, but it's just like when I'm just looking at the second half of the season in conference play, it really is just amazing how good they've been doing and how close they're playing to VCU. Like VCU is only 1.5 to 3 points better than them second half of the season and in conference play recently. So it's like VCU isn't even close to covering this number in recent play. But when you look at the full season, when you look at both teams on the road and on neutral courts, when you're looking at them versus the top teams on their schedule, then you start to see VCU, okay, they're having a 9.5 point edge. So I lean VCU 100%. I honestly think they're going to destroy them, but ah, I'm not really getting that number, so it's just like there's a chance that this is just a great game. So, we'll check real quick what they've been up to and see. But I don't think I can do this. Just loving the favorites today. I honestly think all these favorites are like they got their experience on the neutral, they're settled in and ready to just come crush and win these tournaments. That's how I feel. ECU second team. This team's just as good as St. Louis to me. They just like don't win by like huge margins. They're like lucky if they're winning by double digits in most of their conference games. Like they whooped on Dayton twice this year. I mean, they beat them by 6 points last time. They whooped them worse. So yeah, wow. VCU looks better than better than St. Louis. They're playing St. Joseph's though, so that's what I actually care about. Okay, they beat St. Joseph's by 7. So they just barely covered this number last time they played St. Joseph's. But they ran through their entire conference besides St. Louis. And George Mason beat them in the beginning of January. Whoop-de-doo. VCU's good. It's just like I'm surprised. Like it's just St. John's has been playing so good. I mean St. John's. St. Joe's has been playing so good the trailing 10 games. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 wins in a row. They won 8 out of their last 10. I mean, they probably out of their last 15, they won like 13 out of their last 15. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's just, they've been really going in. But would I like to fade that? Yeah, absolutely would. Because they did take some bad. I mean, they lost to George Mason too. They lost to the same teams. They only took additional losses to Davidson and Fordham, which not a great look. They haven't been winning by as much, but yeah, I'm just not fully getting there with VCU, which is sad because I do like it here. But I'm gonna fall back. Maybe, who knows? If I saw VCU for -5.5, I would jump on that and just fade St. Joe's run. I really would, but we'll see. Next game is Wichita State versus Tulsa. I took Tulsa on the money line here, -115. I really like this Tulsa team. They've been crushing in conference, like Wichita State has been too, but I would like to fade their recent run they've been going on because it is kind of above average. Like, because if you're looking at their samples on the road versus similar teams, I mean, Tulsa's way better. And when you're looking at full season, like Tulsa is 4 points better, second half of season, 4 points better. It's just that trailing 12, 10 games, Wichita State is on a run, and I don't think it's sustainable. I think they dropped the ball here. I mean, I'm not saying Tulsa's going to cover a large number against them, but I have them winning by at least 3 points. Like, I think it's possible that Tulsa comes and whoops them just because of how bad they were shooting. Like, they were shooting so bad today. It was insane that they came back and won. They came back and almost covered. So, this is another team that I like. They showed up to the neutral court now again today. Never have played there before, and versed a team that had experience there and was settled in. And they almost lost, but they came back from a huge deficit when they got comfortable, and now they're going into this game warmed up. Like, yeah, so I like Tulsa a lot. I think I'm gonna like I already took them on money line for sure at -115. I mean, I think they'd crush them. I think Wichita State falls off here. They've been on a pretty suspicious run, I must say. Like I don't think they're that good. See if I could just take a quick look. So they have the same amount of conference wins. Okay, so they are similar. Wichita State, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a 6 game win streak. Yeah, I'll fade that. I'll happily fade that. Even their conference win losses are to South Florida, Tulsa, Florida Atlantic, Rice, Charlotte. So they have conference losses. I mean, Tulsa probably, I mean, clearly does too. Tulsa's losses are to Wichita State, so I like that. I like them losing the last game to Wichita State, but by 4 because they also beat them by double digits in February. Their only other losses are South Florida, UAB, South Florida, and North Texas beat them. So they're comparable teams. It's just I think that Tulsa is statistically a little bit better than Wichita State just overall. And I also think that Wichita State is coming off of some great shooting numbers, like, and Tulsa is coming off a couple rough games. So I think Tulsa turns around and has a great night shooting on the court now that they have experience and they kind of whoop on them. They get serious on defense. Yeah, I like it. So I'm running Tulsa money line -115. Next game, Toledo versus Akron. I wanted to take Akron here, but now I'm like looking at the numbers and they're not really having an edge that's that crazy, so I can't move on it for that reason. They definitely, I think the line's efficient. I'm not too sure what Toledo is capable of. I mean, they did just easily beat UMass, but UMass is not good. So, hmm, I'm conflicted. I really am. Because I think Akron will whoop this team tomorrow, but there's just nothing to really back that up. So I'm just going to stay off of the game. Next, we got Ole Miss versus Arkansas. So in this situation, I would love more than anything to fade Ole Miss and see Arkansas destroy them. They got their guy back, Acuff Jr., who is their best scorer. And I think now that they have him back and he's like back in rhythm, he scored, just put up like 37 points tonight. So I think that they come out and just demolish Ole Miss. I really do. But again, looking at the samples, I mean, I'm only getting them having it like in conference play a 10 to 11 point edge. So in most of the samples, they have a 10 to 11 point edge, which I like. But my only issue is that looking at their road samples, it's just like, yeah, Arkansas doesn't play that good on the road. And Ole Miss surprisingly does all right on the road. They're not getting destroyed. I mean, they're losing by half this number to teams that are a lot worse than Arkansas. So I do see where the number's coming from. I definitely get it. I think it's a pretty good number. But I also think that Arkansas is going to destroy them by double digits. I just think there's no way they can stay that hot shooting. But not getting a huge edge here. When I'm looking at the averages, I'm getting them winning by 9 tops. So, I can't. I just don't. I'm not going to step in front of Ole Miss. I don't know what they got going on or what is going to happen. Maybe they really are. Maybe they're the one. So I'm not touching it. Last game, UCLA Purdue. This is another one where I was like, ooh, this looks like a Purdue game. But when I got to looking at the samples, it just wasn't saying that. So if you're not like, if you're just not winning on average by the number versus comparable teams, I mean, I don't really need to bet you. That's just kind of how I feel with a lot of these games. Purdue is playing so good on the road compared to them. Purdue is going on the road into neutral sites and winning by double digits. UCLA is losing. So looking at that sample, I'm like, wow. But it's a neutral court that they've both played on at this point. I think they're both used to it. I my heart is saying my heart is saying that Arkansas is gonna whoop them. My heart is saying that the favorites are all gonna come out and destroy on Saturday, but they probably won't. I mean, there probably will be a lot of upsets. There have been so far, so as much as I do want to get on Purdue, who knows? Purdue has been hot, so I'm not gonna grab them while they've been hot. I don't really know what UCLA is capable of, to tell you the truth. So came away with I think 5 bets on this one. They are going to be UMBC minus 2.5, Florida minus 7.5, Howard minus 11.5, St. Louis minus 5.5, and Tulsa money line minus 115. Those are the 5 picks I'm going with for Saturday. I doubt I'll jump on anything else. So there you have it. Thank you.